Good evening and welcome to today's podcast. My name is Tyrone, and today I have a special guest with me. So go ahead and introduce yourself, man, and let the world know who you are.
Oh well, I'm Malik Williams. You can follow me on my social media profiles. I got have my full name on Instagram and Facebook. I'm pretty much just I'm a learner. I want to say I'm very interested in American history, world history. I started off as one of those who grew up in the urban neighborhood that pretty much was like growing up and getting indoctrinated. I would say by victimization and victimhood, where I grew up people saying, "Oh, the odds is against you, and you are this and you're that, and you've been oppressed for so long, forever." So then, I just a person who picked up a book and just started taking control of my own destiny and started reading the books and got educated. And then, over time, I just became more, I want to say, knowledgeable on the history. And now I just speak. I like to speak on things, political American history and like a lot of world history, and see how things come together, and try to educate a lot of people, and for the hopes of that things evolve, and yeah, they're pretty much what I do, just post stuff all day, and that's it, and watch, that's pretty much it, man.
No, you good. So
it's
today,
my little background story.
Mhm. Yeah, man. So today we're gonna do something a little different on this podcast. I'm gonna give you the floor, man. What you want to talk about, man? We're just gonna have a good conversation, man, and just chop up what's been going on these past couple of months in this world that we live in.
Okay, so let me see how I'm gonna start. Where should I start at? Okay, I want to like talk about. Let me see this. I want to call it cancel culture. Cancel culture. They want to call it cancel culture, where I have an issue. And I think a majority of people would have an issue with people. People like it's like a grab for power right now going on. Like the energy is like way off. People is trying to take over. Take over people's. The whole country from their own political, from their own personal ideologies. Even though it's invalid, and it's just like, how can I say it? A lot. It's so much political correctness going on, and feel like prejudice, the human prejudice and bias is like pretty much at attack, where people is afraid to even admit their biases and their prejudice, and it's going to explode one day, because people always, soon as people admit it or say something about it, they get slammed like, "Oh, you can't say that, you fired," and it's just like, it's just it doesn't make sense, and then also like you see how the kids is kids are growing up and being indoctrinated in the public school system, which is just giving one side of the story. Public school system is like, it's federal regulated, it's free, so you don't have to pay for it. So they give you one side of the story. The federal government wants you to be dependent. They want more control. So why not start with the education of the youth? And that's where it really pretty much starts. And after that, you get your little minions out, your soldiers go to preach out what you taught them, off that one side of history, until like they can freaking go out on their own and educate their own self. But it's just like a lot of stuff going on like that, man. And it's crazy how like the black young community, like, so they grow up, they start so naive, to things, and they gotta listen to their favorite rapper teaching them about history when the rapper dropped out of high school,
Yeah.
And they just teach them that same type of rhetoric when the rapper don't even do their own research, and now they indoctrinating kids to become, feel like they've been oppressed. It's just like they teaching somebody really how to be a slave, pretty much.
I think you hit the nail on the head. Before I ask you a question, I would like to say that I do kind of agree with you with the cancel culture movement first, because you remember, I want to say it was 2 years ago, when Dave Chappelle did that Sticks and Stones, his comedy special Sticks and Stones. He got a lot of criticism for that, but I respected him for that because he was real. Right. A lot of times, we live in a society, because I was actually I'm glad you brought that up, because I was having a conversation with somebody about just how the white feminist has really dominated our culture and has
So,
started.
hey,
Yeah,
Tyrone, I'm sorry. Can I say something on that white feminist culture?
oh yeah, go ahead, man. Yeah, go
So
ahead.
it's nothing new under the sun, and they've been doing that since before the Civil War, man. They've been doing that to blacks. Like if you think about, it's called, if you look it up, it's called the American Equality Association. They used to have all the way before the Civil War, and that's when white women had to be be anti-slavery, just so they can have their own voice, so they attach themselves to the anti-slavery movement before the Civil War. So they've been doing that since then. So after the Civil War, they attached themselves to the Civil Rights era, and they've been doing it. But before the Civil War, they actually separated because they couldn't agree. Just like now, like the white feminists trying to connect with the Black Revolutionary movement again. But before the Civil War, they separated themselves, and then they went to the white supremacist groups, right after during the Reconstruction era. So there's nothing new.
Yeah, you're correct. And you know way more about this because I just started doing my little research on it. But one of the things that I read about today was about the women's suffrage movement and how, and I don't know too much. I'm just gonna put that out there. I don't know too much about it because I'm still reading on it. But there was stuff to be said about how they were mad at because they felt like, quote, and this is what I read, but they were mad that black men were able to vote before white women were able to vote before, because they felt like they were more important in society than black men. But also, if you see today, and if you look at the prominent people like the Jamel Hills or the Tarana Burks who runs the Me Too movement, it's like the white feminists, in my opinion, it's like they're trying to control black women to make them think that you don't need to be with a black man, or black men are rapists and thugs, but they don't ever call out their white counterpart.
And it's crazy. They sound like the slave master wife.
Yeah.
It sounds, they got, it's like nothing new under the sun. If somebody you paying attention to what they say, if somebody pay attention closely, because they try to put the black woman in front to disguise, they're really, they true prejudice, bias, mean hatred towards like black men, and it's like when you see through that, you like, wow, like they haven't changed. It's like they trying to just hide long enough.
Yeah, and I think that's crazy because it's been like that. If you think about like how the white women has played their part in racism, like even in movies like I can't even think of the name of the movie off the top of my head, but The Birth of a Nation. The Birth of a Nation is a movie that was done, I think, around like the 1900s or the 1920s, where it depicts a black man trying to rape a female, and then the white savior complex comes and saves him. But it made black men look to be evil. Or you think about how you can go present day, how these white women basically control, like how, because pretty much they are the council culture. Feminist is the council culture, like you said, but it's the white feminists, and they got these black prominent figures to be a part of it. But but you notice who they usually go after. Like they go after white men as well. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but they go after like the powerful white men too. Like the elite white men.
Yeah, but at the same time, now I'm not saying that Bill Cosby was wrong or right. To me, I don't know. I can't see it, but they got Bill Cosby up out of here. They tried to get Michael up out of here. R. Kelly got up out of here. But You don't hear about the stories about, I think his name is Ed Buck. I think you probably know who I'm talking about because you read up a lot. But there's a prominent Democratic, he did son with the Democrats, and pretty much he was molesting he was raping African-American men, and their bodies were turning up at his house. Like we don't never hear about that. Obviously we know about Harvey Weinstein, but what about these priests that's molesting these boys? The energy is not the same. So my question is to you, and we can keep discussing this. What do you think is the problem? And I also got another question just to keep the conversation going. we was talking about, because we're talking about, obviously the Democrats are now in charge. Obviously, I know a lot about you, but the world don't know. You are very critical of Democrats, which I am too as well. Talk about that as well and why you are critical.
I just did a research paper on it too, man. It was just very easy, man. I just did it like in 2 days, like I had to, man. Pretty much, it's just because I was always, when I raised up, I was always questioning, like, why do I have to vote for one party? First of all, I didn't even know it was two political parties until I got out of high school. Like, that's how much education I got on the Republican Party, And all I hear was Democrat. Everywhere I was going in my community, just vote Democrat. My mom was telling me, hey, we always vote Democrat. And anybody in my family say Democrat. I'm like, why? I gotta only vote for that. I didn't even know there was a political party. So it's pretty much like they were just a ruler of my whole family, because everybody automatically went towards them. And then when I started getting into politics and history and stuff like that, I started to question, like, hold on, this Republican Party. And then, I stopped watching, I slowed down watching TV, and I started looking at these these channels and started, lining them up with the values of a certain political party. So then when I started doing my own independent research, I started figuring out that Democratic Party is the ones who first won the slaves. They are the biggest political party in America's history. There was the first political party in American history. So they started off as Federalists. So they tell you right then and there what they value. Their essence is to be a federal government power over the people, And also, so as I read the history and stuff like that, it goes to all the way up to, let's fast forward to Abraham Lincoln, right?
Yeah.
So Abraham Lincoln is the first Republican Party get organized. Republican Party came from the Abraham Lincoln supporters. Those were the abolitionists, and there was the anti-slavery movement. Republican Party wanted to end slavery, and may not been solely just to to free blacks, but to rid the Confederate states too also. But they attached themselves to Abraham Lincoln, and they made him the first Republican president. And that's the president who ended slavery. But when people say the switch, I used to hear people say the switch, it was a switch. I actually had to look it up. What switch are you talking about? So I understand this, that the Republican Party really helped the black community a lot. We had the Freedmen's Bureau. That's where the 40 Acres and the Mule came from, the Republican Party, with those black prominent men a part of the political party, and they wanted service. They wanted the new former slaves after the Civil War to have their own land to provide for their family. So the Republican Party helped out with that a lot, and they got the most. They helped us with the first black Senate. They put the most black men in Congress after the Civil War. So they really helped, gave us a helping hand. But it was the Democrats who wanted control over the former slaves. Like they helped the South create black codes. Mm-hmm. When you ever get a chance, and your followers get a chance, look up the research black codes. They came from the former Confederate South, who wanted to uphold that white supremacy, because they had just lost the war. So they were like, these state officials, the Democrats still wanted control over the blacks. So they made all this type of stuff to oppress the black people. Democrat Party, that's where they came from. And then so I can keep on talking about that all day, but ultimately it's pretty much the switch came when the Republican Party and the Democratic Party had a feud over an election. Similar to like Trump and Biden, but it was a switch that happened because the switch is just blacks started voting for Democrat, but that was like decades later. So it's like a Democrat and Republican made an agreement. Okay, hey, you can do what you want with the blacks. We're not even gonna waste our money with them. We just want economic sustainment. So they just left us down there when we could have been rising up with them. So that's what happened. That's what happened with the switch. It's called, I think, the Compromise of 1877. But that's why I got like a little issue with the Democratic Party, because they lied to you. They control public education, indoctrinate young kids like I was growing up. Give them one side of the American history, and then let them go through 12 grades thinking as they are a victim, when they are like, it's so much opportunity in America. They just keep them They just keep them stuck in one city where everybody think a lot. It's like they breed slaves. They breeding slaves again. Like the slaves never left the plantation. You know what I'm saying? So I get that type of energy. when I think about Democratic Party and those who follow or who get manipulated by them and who get influenced by their celebrities and stuff like that. So that's my beef with Democrat Party. They gotta go one day, bro. When they go, all this stuff should be a little better.
Hey, and I agree with that because what I know, because like you said, I don't know if you. So I forgot the dude's name we took because I think me and you took the same class. I think we took him for world history. Can't remember his name.
Mr. Moss?
No, not Mr. Moss. It was another dude. I can't even think his name. But neither that. That's not even important. Essentially, you remember when we was the seniors? It was an election year. Barack Obama was going against. I can't even think of dude's name. My memory's fried today. But Barack Obama.
Hillary Clinton?
No, it wasn't Hillary Clinton. It was It was Obama versus because he's a senator right now in Utah. Mitt Romney. It was Mitt Romney and Obama. And what the Democrats was able to do was they were able to brainwash African Americans to the point that they don't have to do anything. It's indoctrinating us to not only support the Democrats, but if we support anybody else that's not Democrat, we're coons, we're ignorant, we're stupid. Like, what's wrong with us? You need Jesus, stuff like that. And I think that's and it's very ignorant because, like what you was talking about, it happened again, in the '60s when Nixon and Kennedy were running, and I think it was 1960 for the election. And the reason why the Democratic it switched in the '60s was due to the fact that the Democrats was behind they were quote unquote behind the civil rights movement, quote unquote. They were behind it. And then you had Nixon, who ran the Southern Strategy, which essentially was a racist movement to get the Southern votes, aka that's why it's called the Southern Strategy. But ever since the '60s, and granted, there were small. When I say nothing has happened for us, I'm talking about landslide. Like, since the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act has been signed since in the mid '60s, nothing has came substantially to affect African Americans positively. We're one of the few. Now you can look at the LGBT community; they legalized gay marriage. You can talk about with the Hispanics; they were able to get some type of status to stay here. But we are the most, we literally saved Joe Biden. Before South Carolina happened, Joe Biden was literally going to drop out of the race. But then we have one of these gatekeepers, in a sense, who does real harm. Jim Clyburn got behind Joe Biden and gave him his support. And then that's how Joe Biden went to the White House, because he got the black vote there. But we to this day have not gotten the intangible, because I don't know if you've seen Judas and the Black Messiah.
No, I haven't. I got now these days, man. I have issues with movies like those, man, because it's so many movies like that. Like, why are they Hollywood making so many movies like that? This is not, what I'm saying? Like, why? Like, I mean, I think I have an idea, but I just I always question their intention. Like, what is your intention of doing this?
Well, I think we could talk about that. I think not Black Panther. I'm sorry. I think Judas and the Black Messiah is needed because, now granted, a lot of people are confused as to why they were talking more about William O'Neal versus Fred Hampton. But the premise was about William O'Neal really snitching, and basically how he got Fred Hampton killed. That's why it's the title is Judas and the Black Messiah, if you know the biblical reference. But to me, it's important because it shows you what's going on today. We have a lot of Bill O'Neals in our community who does not do anything but hurt our community. And to me, a lot of them are Democrats, because they tell us to go out and vote. They tell us voting is going to change everything. But then when we say, hey, no, we pull an Ice Cube and be like, no, let's let them earn our vote. Oh, right. You're stupid. You need to stay out of politics. It's y'all. Yeah, it's y'all want us to be into politics, but then when we voice our opinion, it's no, you just a rapper. No, you just an athlete. So what is it? But then again, just like I said, bro, they know this junk is so strategically
modified just for us to be that, like, not, on that level when it's come to politics. Like, that public education, they understand what type of environment that we in. It's just so socially engineered. If you actually pay attention to how the things is, if you actually go to just at least, like, if you go to a private school, at least for one day, and you'll go back to a public school, you will understand, like, bro, you got minorities in here, and look how this school is set up. It literally set up to a prison, to a school pipeline. Like, it's like the school is look just like a prison. Or it's just, they got us in line like prisons, they fighting and stuff like that, because they know the environment that we live in. We're gonna bring the same habits into the school. Yeah. And they know the teachers not gonna be respected. So it's like, okay, oh yeah, we're gonna, I don't like to use the N-word no more. But they just like, they sit back and say, oh yeah, we can't wait for these niggas to drop out or graduate. They gonna be right back where we need them. You know what I'm saying? Back in these chains. Cause they already look at themselves as niggas anyway. So let them be niggas, and we're gonna get them right back where we need to be. Cause slavery is only limited to the 13th Amendment. So when the 13th, so when you break a crime, easily commit a crime, which is so easy to do in our community, and then they got us scared to snitch on people. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all, they got us like blocked in. So it's like, if we don't get knowledgeable, or at least get on that wave where we stop saying, let's hate the system, forget the system. First, let's understand the system. That way we can use it to our advantage. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree, but I think I disagree with you on that. I don't think the reason why I say it's not we shouldn't like the system is because, first of all, I believe that African Americans built the system, but we were forced to build the system that's now against us. Like, but
when you say built the system, what do you mean when you say
we literally built this country, like, for free. So think about it, like, when you can just use it as an aspect when you buy a home, or when you buy something and somebody has to do it, they're gonna want money. So when you don't have to, I'm gonna use this as a great example. Everybody knows about the Goodwill. The Goodwill is one of the most profitable organizations of all time. You know why? Because everything that they sell, they get for free. They get it donated. They don't pay their employees all that much money. Like, if you are a store clerk or you a cashier, you're probably making like $8 an hour or $8.25 an hour. So in turn, you can make so much money by somebody donating their stuff that most of the time they throw away anyway. So when you you look at the government, right? When you got all your prestigious universities like Harvard, Yale, Princeton, all those Ivy League schools, you got the White House, the U.S. Capitol, and you got that built for free labor. You built the economy essentially because they didn't have to pay for that, and they were able to get a head start. So what I'm saying is, like, when we talk about our school systems, we should have a say about what we do, but it's also, we need to get leverage. And I was having a conversation with my wife and one of my cousins about this, and I want your opinion on this too. I think what would give us leverage in this situation to have more power is to have a middle class, which obviously that makes sense. But how do we get to a middle class? You talked about the school systems. Instead of us pushing our kids to go to the military, go to school, go to college, I would set up so many places that teaches a skill or a trade. Because if you get people with better jobs, something that they can make a lifelong living on, like being a plumber, being a mechanic, being a barber, doing something IT related. If you can do that, you can build up an economy where you can then have better school systems, and then you can have a police system that you don't feel like is going to kill you. So, like, what are your thoughts on that? And just expand on that if you know how you feel about that.
Okay. It makes sense to do that, but then again, you got to consider, in all reality, how the system. I know you said, free labor and stuff like that, free labor, things like that. But you look at, like I said, abroad. If you look from a bigger picture, world history period from the beginning of times, someone in some time always profit off cheap labor or free labor by having servants and You know, this from Egypt all the way to now. You know, but if you think about having a middle class, like having doctors and stuff like that, the only way you got to think about is funding, and the only power that can willingly fund, you know, it would be government. But when I say government, I'm not talking about people that's already in the majority that rules. You have to get people like us in that seats and vote. You know, like make sure that, you know, people know that our votes matter, to get those people in their seats, get them educated on, you know, the ideology, or, you know, or the intentions of, you know, where we should be in 20 years, and what those, you know, when we put those people in those seats, you know, no matter what color they is, don't even look at the color. Just think about, you know, what you know, we got to tell them, hey, this is what we want to be done in our communities, and we got to start from a local point, and start from like a local little city, and just experiment on it. Like, let me see if I put this barber school inside this high school, how many barbers will it produce? You know, how would it put, you know, would grades raise up higher? You know, it's like, because you think about it now, we just limited to football, basketball, sports, and rap. Yeah. Ain't no doctors coming in, no lawyers coming in. There's no government programs for that in urban communities, you know. But it come with someone who's raised in those type of communities to get votes. You know what I'm saying? To have those intentions, not just get paid a lot of money to just sit there and do nothing just because they're black. You know what I'm saying? Like, we treat black politicians differently than a white politician. We don't question black politicians. We just let them, hey, preach, sound like Al Sharpton, and, you know, go their merry way, saying, oh, we the first black da-da-da. All right, that's it. You know? So yeah. I just think we should, like, raise focus on the youth, or focus on those who want to be in politics, or focus on, you know, future lawyers more than anything else. Because those are the ones who need to be in their government seats to get that government funding. Because the government got no money to do it, but it just ain't nobody fighting for it.
Exactly, and I think you hit the nail on the head with that, because I think if you look because everything starts with the youth. Like, we have the problem of, because I think I think as African Americans, we have to be accountable for ourselves. Like, there's a reason why the projects in Atlanta got torn down. You know, when we're talking about Herndon Homes, Bowen Homes, Bankhead Courts, all of those. The reason why they got torn down was because, not to say that the people that would stand there were trying to cop the system, but you had a lot of people who were trying to gain on the system, and who was comfortable being a typical ignorant ass nigga. Like, we just gonna keep it like that. So we literally have to work with the youth, because you can change their mindset to want to do better. And the reason why and this is just my opinion, that we do struggle with that is because of really three things. The first one, which you kind of mentioned a little bit, is our church system. Our church system has its place to control us. It can want us, because it's also the political structure. We don't understand politics, which is why somebody can come to, you know, our church, or, you know, whatever, they can give us a fish fry, and then we're just gonna vote for the Democrats with no understanding of what we're voting for. You can literally put Joe Blow, who's a pedophile, but as long as he's a Democrat, we're still gonna vote for him, and we're gonna not only vote for him, but we're gonna excuse everything that we trash Trump for. Because let's just be real, Joe Biden, to me, is more fucked up than Trump. And I know people are going to be like, yo, what the fuck? Why you would say that? Now, I'm not going to sit up and lie. I don't know how you feel about Trump, Malik, but, you know, I don't give a fuck about Trump. He is who he was. But let's look at Joe Biden's history. Joe Biden at one point was a segregationist. He wrote the crime bill, which, you know, got a lot of black people put in jail for just for, you know. And on top of that, like, he's not a progressive. A lot of the things that we want, such as minimum wage or, you know, affordable hair care, he's not even for that. He's a moderate, so he's not even for that. But we voted for him because he's a Democrat. So that's the second thing. And the third thing that I just believe that we, like you have said, I feel like we play the victim. We don't want better for ourselves.
So then, you know, maybe like, so you got. Then you gotta. I like peeling the onion back. I call it peeling layers. Like, yeah. So you think about it. You know, the '80s was a messed up period. And a lot of people got locked up for that. So if you think about the victim, it's like I think most victims is like it's easy for them to be manipulated to become victims because first of all, their fathers might be locked up.
Yeah.
Or like I think the Aegis baby has the most. If you do the research, I think it's proven that people that was born in the 80s generation, I think they had the most single family households. And maybe increased since then though. If you think about single family household, if you look at them, even the movies, it showed that a son have deep hatred for their father already. So they young and they got to become a man now. But now they already in that victimhood mentality where the mom is already telling them, F your daddy ain't doing nothing for you, your daddy ain't doing nothing for us, stuff like that, And now you're already getting that victimhood. And then now you going to the streets, you going in school, they showing you like, hey, you've been enslaved for so long and yeah, you oppressed or you know what I'm saying? So they feeding the minds, like the mind is like getting fed good. And then now, they grow up and now that's all they know now. They're trying to blame somebody else for their bad decisions, and it's always got validated because I'm a black man, so I can do it. I'm already victimized, so I can do it. They already see me as this, so I'm just a nigga anyway, so they don't care about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but you see what I'm trying to highlight though. That's why I said like I can't. People are becoming victims and they are getting taught how to be victims, but I think it's always come from that. You gotta think about their child in their household when they first got the wound and how they grew up and what they see in life and what they getting fed.
Exactly, and I think you just hit the nail on the head, and you literally brought it back to what we were talking about originally, which was the white feminist movement. Because the reason that we struggle is because of the separation of the black man and the black woman. Like,
is it?
Like you said, so like one of my favorite new shows that I've caught up on is Snowfall, which is it's a fictional show, but it's essentially talking about which did happen, how the CIA basically brought cocaine to fund a war, and how that decimated our communities in the 80s, in the 90s as well, off of a drug. And like you said, and I think that's the something that we have to focus on, because the easiest thing to say that I can say about that is you think about how you come from a single parent household. Your dad wasn't there. You a man, but you don't turn around and raise your kid. Like that's a problem. So yeah, like I think you hit the nail on the head with that. And I personally believe that we have to really hone on because first of all, like black on black crime, I've never been a fan of that. But we got to start killing each other. That's just obvious, right? Because we got to respect one another as well.
But look at the. I know you see it, bro. Like, look at the terminology. Think about the indoctrination, like how we get fed through these words. I'm a true believer of, I think, therefore I am.
Yeah.
So if you all like, we got women who don't want to be mothers, who don't want to be wives. They want to be baby mamas. They everybody is everybody is. I want to say, I'm not saying they celebrate the baby mama type, but it's like,
it's definitely celebrated. It's definitely celebrated.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's not.
Yeah.
We're not like everybody don't want to be. People want to feel like I ain't see the Grammys, but I watched it. But they feeding our kids how to kiss other women. It's like. It's backwards, bro. Like, come on now. It's like those little small pieces, where also you got women saying they bees. They call themselves the B word now. They call themselves baby mamas. They call themselves well, men look at them as like hoes. Men, we don't even call ourselves men anymore. We just call us niggas, real niggas. What I'm saying? A real nigga wanna do this, a real nigga wanna do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't even call ourselves fathers no more, or dads, or we're men, or you don't, address me as a man. I'm a, what I'm saying? People don't want to say I'm a man. They want to say I'm that nigga now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you already put yourself at a subhuman level. So what it look like if I kill another nigga, I just killed another nigga. You know what I'm saying? It's just
But think about that though, right? You gotta because I'm a deep thinker. I know you're a deep thinker. See, I put two and two together, right? they want to get rid of the black man, right? They want to. Racism did not go away with the Jim Crow laws. Everything is not in your face racism. So for me, and I feel like the Democrats and the Republicans are on the same team. They just come and one's the good cop, one's the bad cop, right?
So Tyrone, look, I like to implement that because, like I said, that's new under the sun. So you round it back when I said about the Reconstruction era, that's right out of the Civil War. And when you remember I said the compromise of 1877. Yeah. So if you think about it, it's always that question about, was blacks used by Republicans to have more power over the Confederate Southern states? Or were black used by the Republicans just to say that, just to exploit the South better? Like, are we used today, even today, with Democrats and Republicans as just pawns? Hey, I got the black vote. And Republicans like, no, I got the black vote. You know what I'm saying? Until...
It's like you get because how I feel about it is, especially with the Democrats now, right? Because I'm obviously I wasn't born in the 40s and the 50s when most African Americans were Republicans, which is a lot of people don't even know that because Martin Luther King was a Republican. But anyway, it's kind of like we're gonna use these African Americans, we're gonna get them in office, but it's gonna benefit us. Meaning like, oh yeah, we'll throw you some little crumbs, like we'll give you $1,400 for a stimulus check. But we're going to pass stuff that's going to be progressive for us, meaning women's rights, gay rights, Hispanic rights, because that's what's important. But, we really thank you. It's like you getting we thank you for your service, right? So we're going to give you $1,400. And they think that because we're stupid. I'm not going to sit up here and say we're stupid as African Americans, but we're vulnerable. We're definitely vulnerable because they'll shine, and that's what I was getting to when I was talking about the Judas and the Black Messiah movie. They'll give us something shiny, right, that we're gonna latch onto that's not really anything tangible because they know that's what we want. Because they know that African Americans will do anything for a piece of change. Oh, you're gonna vote? Oh, because they even did it, when Ossoff and Warnock was going for was running for Congress in Georgia. Oh, you want your $200,000 stimulus check? Here you go. Just vote for us. Just vote. Yes, exactly. And the reason why I say that I don't trust the Democrats, because I think about it like this: how do you destroy a family? You kill it from the head. Like, why? Like, I don't know if you've noticed this, and like I said, I'm not against interracial marriage. I'm not against gay marriage because whoever you want to fuck, that's your problem. That's your priority. I ain't got shit to do with me. But in general, like from what I see, like it's like, okay, if you notice, you see a lot of interracial commercials, right? You see a lot of gay couples, or you even see like how when they do these little, especially around like Christmas or the holidays or whatever, they have like these ads that show a single mother without a dad. Everything that you see in the media is deliberate in what they do. It's not by accident.
Even if you look at the freaking, they showed us that they're not there for no black man. Like, this is not the party for the black man. Like, they showed nothing but they showed the butt broke dude with the dress singing on TV as a black person, national television with a dress on singing. They don't show you don't show, unless you're a politician, they're not showing any, I don't want to say, what they call it, they're not showing any, heterosexual, like a, black man on it at the Democratic Party. But if people know the history of it, they know that you gotta look at the essence of the Democratic Party. Look at the essence. It's, what I'm saying. That's why I say I prefer, going with the Republican Party, value, because they will allow the black community to do, to build, and they will allow us to hold each other. I want to say more account. It's like, you free. Do it. Do what you want. We're not gonna give you no type of assistance. Hey, build your community up and stuff like that. It's like they give us a little more. We already got freedom, but they give us a little more ways to progress.
Yeah, and they use the gatekeepers to stop a resistance. Like, it's the literal sense of the Ice Cube situation. No, shut up. No, you don't know what you're talking about. The Democrats do this. They did some little bullshit policy thing. Like, because like if you think about it, we love Obama, right? And I'm not gonna sit up a lie. I still fuck with what Obama did, because at the end of the day, he made history. He was one of us. But when he came out and said he was against defunding the police, which is something that I don't think people really understand what that really means. It's not saying, oh, we're gonna.
Did you see what Obama did in Flint?
Exactly. Not only that, I think what people don't even understand is, Malik,
Bruh,
look what he did when, I want to say, I forgot the dude who got killed in, because it was like pretty much anybody who, Freddie Gray, right? Freddie Gray happened under him. There was a guy in Baton Rouge. I want to say even Trayvon. Look what he did as in response to that. He didn't say shit about that. And in the Freddie Gray, and I think we talked about it on your podcast, but the Freddie Gray situation was really made me look at Obama differently.
But look, bro, like most of the stuff is happening in blue states. People don't see like this political terminology. When people say blue state, they mean Democrat-run cities. So when Democrats get in control, they're gonna let the blue states run freely. They're gonna let their local police officers reign. Like, hey, you do what you want with these niggas. Just like they did in the just like they did in the Reconstruction area. Hey, we're gonna let the South, the blue states, do whatever they want with these niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't gonna even, hold y'all accountable. These niggas act up, do what you gotta do to them. You know what I'm saying? It's just like that. And that's what is like the essence like of the Democratic Party. If people don't understand that, like, they be so sweet to you. Hey, come on, we're gonna do a show and stuff like that. We're gonna be at the Grammys. We're gonna talk about social justice. Like, come on now. Like, what's going on? We're gonna get this affirmative action. But then when we get control, y'all niggas better not even cross the street illegally. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all really our niggas. Literally, y'all, you know what I'm saying? Now, y'all not free no more. Stuff like that. They always want a stronghold in the black community.
And that's what the Democrats have, because they put people in prominent positions to stop the resistance. It's like going back to slavery. You basically had the man who would not let the slaves run away, because that's what the Democrats know, that we're starting to gain a little bit more power. We're starting to come to common sense. But what they did was they tried to attack any and everybody who was against the election. And there's this guy who I follow on Twitter. His name is Terrain. I think his name is Terrain Walker, and he made a excellent point about just the Democrats and everything. You've seen so many people try to get us to go out and vote. You had strippers at Magic City. You had just people just like questioning like your blackness for not going to vote. But when Biden had told you, because one of the things that a lot of people are going to let slide, right? Biden promised some type of student loan forgiveness. He ran on that campaign. That was one of the things that he was running on. So for him to come out and say that, it was two things, but that was the main one, right? Because a lot of people, because they told us to go to school, Malik, they told us to go get a college education. They made it seem like you were better than the person who didn't have a college degree. If you got a college degree, then you're better than somebody who don't have a college degree. But now we have student loan debt. But he's not gonna go for that, right? He said he's not gonna sign that into law. They tried to get they tried to put a policy in to have a minimum wage of $15. That didn't happen. So he has not kept his promises. The same way that we laughed at the folks who voted for Trump because he would say he was going to build a wall. But they're going to make every excuse for Biden, because in next year, midterm election.
And look, and it's crazy, bro. Like, people, like, they know we so emotional, man, and then that's why I vote and I support Trump out loud, because I let people know that we are free. Like, we can choose who we want to, and we can read policies and we can interpret the policies and point our own opinion. We don't have to follow, the biggest celebrity because they voting for somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now, because Trump was gonna give us 150 million, in the black community, but Biden's passed this COVID relief bill. What's going to black folks? Is some stuff going to Indian tribes? Is some stuff going to immigrants?
You got them $1,400.
But black people ain't getting a jack thing.
$1,400. That's it. Like, and we were supposed to get $2,000. Like, we didn't even get that. So, like, my thing is this, because I'm not going to sit for, like, I don't consider myself a Democrat, and I don't consider I'm an independent. I'm going to vote for where my interest is, right? But, and I'm not going to sit up and lie. I consider, so I did vote for Biden. I was just like, I got to vote for somebody. I'm going to just vote for Biden, whatever, right? But at the same time, right, like, it's like one of the things that comes with, because with great power comes great responsibility. We vote, right? But we don't want to hold our politicians accountable. Oh, they doing the best they can, but we want to criticize the opposition. Oh, Trump ain't doing this, Trump ain't doing that. But what about Biden? Because one of the things that I want to see what happens when the next time, because it's going to happen again, unfortunately, when the next black person get killed by the police or by somebody who's racist, what is Biden's stance? Is he going to really fuck with us, or is he going to sit on the sidelines? And I really want people to really hold these Democrats accountable, because
and then when it happens, I mean, I don't want to speak it into existence, but if it does happen, it's gonna be in a South blue ran state. Yeah, I understand. It's gonna be run in the Democrat ran states. I'm telling you, they run them, like they run, that N-word, man, so they know how people gonna act up. They know that we don't know history. They know that we indoctrinated with public education, only one side of the story. They know that they raising victims of the plantation. They know people are angry in their cities. They know that they're now allowing people to get the opportunities of America that's really presented to themselves. They know that they got people who never even left the corner of their street before. You know what I'm saying? They know they got people who don't look at themselves as men. They know they got people who live in single family households that's on government assistance. They know they got baby mamas who reaping the benefits from child support. They know they're not supporting the black man. They know they freaking arresting the black man easily. You know what I'm saying, in their states. So they got all this stuff going on. It's a chess game. And they can, it's like pretty much they got like a stronghold until we can break off, bro. Okay, you think about it. It's segregation.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So do you believe, I think we was just segregated. We was on our own for like 100 years, I think.
And we was doing, I want to say we was doing great, but we was able to keep the black dollar in our community because we didn't have no choice but to.
Yeah, but then think about this too, though. Like we don't even, they even give us a chance, bro. So there's like one generation and a half, 100 years. We didn't even understand the capitalism society. We didn't understand how to be truly self-sufficient as an American. We just free. We got to get things. We got to understand how these things work out. But we want think about freaking people who been slaves for so long, and then now you let the chains off. Hey, all right, y'all free. Now you just give 100 years. Now somebody want to run in and say, "Oh, y'all need civil rights." Bring them in our schools and stuff. Like, hold on. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just too much going on at one time, and we got people preachers getting paid now for it and leading us to these marches. We been marching since the 60s, bro. I'm tired of marching. And I don't know why people still marching, bro. I'm like, you marching just like your great granddad would. It's 2021. Use your head now. Go to get your degree, learn this stuff, and and write some policies, some legislations.
Because think about it, and I'm not trying to diss John Lewis, but there's a reason why they celebrate John Lewis, because he got his ass beat. Like, America's they did the same. Not to say they did the same with you got to understand, when Muhammad Ali got popular in America, it's because after he got Parkinson's. Like, he was already popular, but they honor him because he's not a threat. They're never gonna. The reason why I'm glad they put that movie about Fred Hampton out is because they highlighted what he really was about, and he was a threat to white society. Because what they not going, which is just crazy to see, he actually tried to work with white people because he was about a common goal. And I think that what people don't understand is, including these Democratic dick riders, what I like to call them, is the fact that at the end of the day, the Democrats are just as racist as the Republicans. Because what did the Democrats do when George Floyd happened and we was already celebrating, worrying about what happened with Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery? They thought it was acceptable. They took a knee and put on some damn kente cloth, and that was what that was. And this was supposed to make amends for what has happened, because you even, like, I don't even know if you know, because I know you don't live in Atlanta, but with the dude who got killed in Atlanta at the Wendy's, Rayshard Brooks, right? He got killed by the police officers. We just elected a black district attorney, right? Because the previous district attorney, Paul Howard, pressed charges and gave one of the police officers a murder charge. She was trying to basically not try the case and get it to go to another because she was paid off by the police. But she's a Democrat. So when we say that we need to vote for our interests, not because of what we've been adopted, but it's the same thing with church. We go to church because that's what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to think outside the box and understand that really Islam, Judaism, and Christianity all come from the same origin. And we're not supposed to think. We're not supposed to understand that essentially with the Democrats and the Republican, they're just two different parties. It's two different parties. You got the elephants, and I think the other one's a donkey. That's that. You got so many damn political parties, and so at the end of the day, we can think. We can create our own damn political party.
And then this why I'm saying, like, it's just about us getting educated enough, knowledgeable enough to learn how to incorporate ourselves in there and, like, speak that same language instead of, like, we can't go, like, learn how to, put on a suit and tie and handle, business instead of, like, being on TV, rapping about stuff and going, what I'm saying? Like, if we got enough, if we can sell out a whole arena to watch freaking the baby talk about some junk, they don't really, makes, just go to a rap show. You should be able to go support someone, on a political party stage. But like I said again, though, if you think about it, how long we were segregated for, how much time did they give us to establish our own values? Like, you know what I'm saying? Not that long. I don't think so. I don't think it's like, because they left the Indians alone. The Indians know that. No, they think the difference between us and the Indians, bro. You know what the Indians did?
They got their shit together and they formalized.
The Indians fought back.
Well, that too, yeah. They did.
The Indians were fighting, but the Indians were, like, helping the British. The Indians, like, but different. The Indians had different tribes. It wasn't like I'm paying Indian and stuff like that. They wasn't on that. They was like, all right, let me see. If we let the English settlers beat this tribe over here, we're gonna take up that land and we can be friends with the British, settlers. But it was like they was having wars over the land, and Americans sooner or later got tired of, like, all right, they're not gonna give it up this easy. You know what I'm saying? So let's make peace with them. Let's leave them alone. So you think about if black people would have end up being able to fight back. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's what it really is.
But this is like, and then I know you got your opinions about the religion, but if people actually stop reading it for literally, and read it for, like, some spiritual empowerment and actually learn from the stories and understand that them stories was, like, based on maybe based on true events, and then the events that can happen within yourself.
Exactly. Like
you making get some inspiration from the mountaintop and help your people out in a different way on if you can relate to the times of now. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now, like, freaking Moses went all the way up to the freaking king of Egypt, I think, or whoever, some pharaoh, you know what I'm saying, and said, let my, hey, what you want to do? And then he killed everybody on the land, something like that. But he killed everybody, kids, all of them. He wiped them all out, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, was that, so, I mean, yeah, bro, it's complex, man, but it's just like, we really, like, the Indians fought back, bro, and they got something, like, they don't even get messed with like that. And I think they always prepared to, go down, because they understand what they're dealing with. For some reason, we're not looking at this as, like, this man, you know what I'm saying? They're like, this pretty much like some type of low level war, mentally right now. But we always been psychological, in war with, people who, enslaved us. So it's always like a psychological thing. We always got to go back and forth and stuff like that. But I mean, right now, man, I don't know how. I got a question for you, bro.
Okay.
All right. So, have you seen Tamir Rice's mother call out the Black Lives Matter organization?
I haven't seen Tamir, but I've seen what's the dude name in Missouri? His dad. He called out Black Lives Matter because they are not doing what they got so much money, but they're not investing into their communities in Ferguson. And what I would say to that, I don't go ahead and ask your question, because I know you said you had a question.
Okay, do you think Black Lives Matter intentions is it to help the Black community, or is it just simply a hustle? Pretty much.
So what I think of when I think of Black Lives Matter, I think of two entities. I think of, like, when I say Black Lives Matter, that's the movement, right? There's a movement of Black Lives Matter and there's an organization of Black Lives Matter. The movement is the people that go out and protest and do what we need to do and get our voices heard, that Black Lives Matter. But the organization is something totally different that does not cater to Black people. Because, like, if you look on their Instagram, they got flack for having somebody go to a Confederate statue and twerk in front of it, which, you know, that's stupid shit. That's not stuff that we do. How that's not gonna get our shit taken seriously. But when you think about it, who runs Black Lives Matter organization? Because it sure ain't us. Like, and so what I'm saying is, that's how I look at it. So the Black Lives Matter organization, I don't fuck with, I don't rock with, because I don't feel like they are the real, you know, they're not speaking for the real people who are in the trenches, as we like to say. So what they need to do is they need to go ahead and drop the fucking name, create another name, and they're gonna need to put their money where their mouth is, because you have so many people who are doing real positive work in these communities that can use help. You want to, like we was talking about earlier, you want to fix our communities, fund these schools. So instead of having to send our kids to, as you know about Atlanta, sending our kids to Marietta, Kennesaw, Stockbridge, you can send your kids to a school in South Fulton County. That's not named Westlake, because at the end of the day, you know that their kids' education is going to mean something to these schools. Because it's not like it's not like these schools don't care. Because I went to some real, I wouldn't say, I only went to really one school that was really like gutter, and I was Silver Hills Middle School.
But you gotta think about it too, though. The thing about the schools, like, I mean, I agree, 50%, but you gotta think about the kids that going into these schools and what environment that they seeing, where they coming from. Like, you can have a smart student that come from they were raised in a bad background, bad environment. You know what I'm saying, and get messed up. But what I can say to that is, there are programs that actually do the work. Like, I don't know if they're still around, but Hands on Atlanta, they really did some good work in Southwest, like the communities that I went to, because they literally would have after school programs. They did tutoring, because that's what you have to have in these impoverished communities, because a lot of times it's not like there are some bad bunches, but a lot of times the kids are that way because of the circumstances. That's even with their parents, it's really not their fault. It's the fact that they come from a situation, they had to struggle, they got to do what they got to do. But if we, like I was going back and saying earlier, if we build our middle class up, we can have people who can have interest in our schools. Because it's not like these kids know no better. It's just the fact that when you create an environment, and that's why I don't fuck with the Democrats, is because they have been in power with Bill Clinton, Jimmy Carter, and recently it's Barack Obama and now Joe Biden. Those are the last 4 Democratic presidents: Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton, Obama, Lyndon B. Johnson.
Well, I'm talking about, like, those are because you came before it. But I'm saying,
I just be stuck on that back. I just be stuck on it. Like,
no,
it's so many, man.
No, yeah, but it's like because Reagan was a horrible president, right? And we get that. But Bill Clinton came right after him. Now, Bill Clinton was really good for Black people because a lot of our families could actually make money and afford stuff, but nothing really changed. And that's the issue that we have, because another issue too is our HBCUs. I've been to one that's been affected by this. These HBCUs do not get funding. Now, they have been promoting HBCUs and HBCU this, HBCU that, but why some of these schools are closing? Now, I'm not going to say a lot of some of this due to improperly managing money, but that's not the case in schools. So what I'm saying is,
but have you researched? Is it because of the academic graduation rates? Because I seen that majority of HBCUs graduation rates is not, on a compared national level, it's pretty they failing.
So I haven't really looked at it, but it's so what I think the issue is. I think it's really two reasons. It's because for a lot of these HBCUs, they're expensive because they don't have the money. Like for example, when I went to Alabama State University, if I was in state, I would have paid more. Well, I would have. So if I let's just say I was an Alabama native and I wanted to go to Georgia State, right? I would have paid less than I would have had to pay less than what I would have had to pay as an in-state student to go to Alabama State. Why? Because Georgia State gets better funding, and I think that plus the fact that it's a lot of times these HBCUs they're going through leadership struggles because they're trying to keep afloat. So I think that because a lot of these HBCUs too as well, they accept a lot more than your regular PWIs. Shoot, I can say that for myself. I was conditionally accepted into Alabama State. Now I was enrolled regularly, but a lot of times they're going to take more students who don't have the grades, but because they believe that they can make a change. So that's why you see a lot of like that, because it's kind of like the equivalent in the sense of like a community college. Like a community college is going to have a low graduation rate because a lot of times those kids who go to those community colleges, they don't end up finishing because they realize that college is not for them. So I think that's the root of that. And I can ask you this, like, you have a kid, would you want your kid to go to HBCU or no?
I would have her consider every other school too, though, because I want her to be well diverse, man, because this is America at the end of the day. So if she got, she have options and she got her SAT score high enough to reach that Harvard or Princeton and get that top quality education, that way she can still, have some very good academic, certifications. I mean, I prefer for her to go like beyond, go to the shoot for the moon,
Yeah.
But I mean, I wouldn't like try to, make, you gotta go to HBCU. No, I wouldn't have her do that because the world is like so big, and I'm not sure how, what HBCUs actually like be trying to these days teach, So, I mean,
yeah,
I would consider her going there, but I mean, I'll give her choice pretty much.
Yeah, I got you. But hey, man, we got to wrap this up, man, because I know it's been on for an hour, but and we definitely gonna do this again. But before you go, man, just any final thoughts that you want to say, man, and just let the people know how they can find you.
Okay. I want to say this, man. I had called out a popular activist today, but I just want to say I'm not gonna say no names or nothing like that. But hey, man, just if y'all don't even like, you are a person of color and you see these activists, right? And they on TV now, they in the Grammys, they on TV, they in music videos, they didn't get these shout outs from these celebrities, they on these talk shows. Hey, you can always question them, man. Don't even look past the skin color and question what their intentions and question what they are saying. Like, look at their words and research what they're saying, because a lot of them are teaching rhetoric and getting paid from indoctrinating your kids to hate somebody else who doesn't look like them, and victimhood is a hustle. It's a business, I'm telling you. But it's my final words, man. And hey, if you want to, follow me on Instagram, Malik Williams, 01 if you want to. Follow me on Facebook, and that's pretty much it, man.
Yeah, man, and we also got a page. Malik is definitely an admin. We the Culture, where we talk about things that affects the Black culture, because I believe that our culture, we are the culture. That's why we had that group. So if you want to hit us up on that as well. But yeah, man, we're gonna wrap this up, man. So Malik, I appreciate you for joining, man.
Appreciate you, man, for the conversation, man. It's always good.
Yeah, man. And shoot, we can do this whenever, man. Whenever you're ready, man, just let me know. But yeah, man, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up right here.
All right, man.
Yeah, man. So yeah, everybody, thank you for listening. Y'all have a good night.
bellow on the bellow.